A Talk at the Park by me. I write often, mostly from the perspective of some average person with a quirky, inhuman twist to their character, but not today. Today, this is a story about two men, a woman, and a park, or what I believe should be a park. Here we go. It was May 25th, 1912, a grueling cold day if you ask me. However, I was not there at the time, so I don't know what the weather was truly like, but this story does not focus on me. It focuses on it focuses on someone present at that date. This someone is Johansen Fitzgerald Embergard, 25 years old, a man who unfortunately lost all his colleagues on a boat which split in half and sank. His colleagues meant much to him, as they were the reason his business of selling soap bars kicked off. They were also the best of friends outside the field. They shared memories and jokes together from time to time, and they took turns visiting each other's houses during the holidays. They also kept Johnson anonymous, as the man had a really bad fear of the public eye. But now he has no colleagues, no friends. This made Johansson nearly depressed. He basically had nobody, not even family, for personal reasons that I refuse to disclose. Back to the story, though. Johansson was wallowing in his sadness next to his window, looking at the gray sky, hoping that his buddies would somehow come back in the perfect shape that they were in before the fateful voyage. But it never happened. It's been a month now, and they simply haven't returned. He was thinking of joining them, but suddenly he remembered a piece of advice that colleague 2 gave him. Johansson, look at you. Your soap company finally paid off just like you wanted, and it's all because you didn't give up, man. Now you've got to expand your butterfly wings even more and spread your influence throughout even more hygiene products and sell those too for everybody. That's so cute, I could cry. But I'm the narrator. I'm not supposed to do that. So anyway, Johansson took those words of advice and picked up his black and white umbrella and hit the road. Where to? Well, there was a nearby festival going on downtown, which, off topic, I think is pretty twisted to hold a festival exactly a month after a tragedy that killed and froze 1,000 innocent people. But hey, I don't write the story. So Johansson made his way to the festival, but when he saw all those individuals, it sparked his fear of being outside in public spaces. But he couldn't give up. He needed to expand his butterfly wings as promised. So he went straight to the party place. He walked past a bunch of people, awkwardly, fearing for his life as if one of them was going to rip his face off and needed tissue. How specific of me. He continued walking until he had forgotten what he wanted to say, until he saw a hot dog stand. Johansson was a big sucker for hot dogs, and so he went to the stand. Cheerio, sir, said the guy running the stand. What can I get you today? I'd like a regular old hot dog, thank you, sir. Not gonna add on any condiments? I've never been the type of specimen to apply sauces to my cuisine. Well, I've never witnessed that in any of my customers until you, sir. You're quite the unique individual. Johansson let out a little chuckle. That interaction was quite wholesome, and it made him happy, which, if you don't remember, that's the happiest he's been in a month. So the hot dog man gave Johansson a hot dog. They were just a penny, something he could easily find on the floor, so payment wasn't a problem. Johansson forgot to walk away and started eating his food right then and there, unconsciously. Uh, sir, shouldn't you be making your way? Asked the hot dog man. Johansson realized what the hell he was doing and snapped back into reality, but let out a little giggle of embarrassment. He doesn't really express himself with words. He kind of just chuckles and giggles. Body language too, but I think that's kind of natural. I don't know anything. Johansson apologized for his stupidity, but the man said it was no harm and stated he found it funny. This, too, made Johansson happy. The man introduced himself as Neil Skipper Bikerman, 27 years old. He picked up the job at the hot dog stand because his family would always say he made the best homemade hot dogs, and ever so occasionally, stuffing. Was stuffing a thing in 1912? The two had a little bit of talk, which is surprising for Johansson because he doesn't usually warm up to people so fast. He wasn't much of the talker anyway. He wasn't doing much of the talking anyway. Eventually, it was time for the festival to come to a close. It was pure silence. Streets were empty, drinks were left over, and people were falling asleep drunk on the road. Johansson and Skipper took a walk around the park until suddenly they found a bench with a woman on it. 24-year-old Definitely Delicious, which is a play on Truly Scrumptious from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I like cultural references. They asked her if they could sit by her, and she agreed. A few seconds go by. So, asked Skipper, Why did you decide to stay post-festival, madam? Surely you've got somewhere to be. Definitely let out a short sigh. I have trouble with my father back at my residence, and I simply wish I could go for some peace. And I simply wish for some peace and quiet every now and then. I don't believe the festival was quite the best start for a getaway from noise, but it's all right. Skipper understood. A few minutes go by. Then out of nowhere, hey, says definitely. Do you ever wonder why and how everything is the way it is? Like how we act and stuff? What goes on? It's so imperfect, but I feel like just knowing that not everything is perfect in its own way. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you, Delicious. The three jumped in fear, holding their hands at their chests in amazement. Why, who said that? Exclaimed Skipper. Is there more people with us at this hour? There is. It's me, the narrator. I know, shocker, right? I never said the story wouldn't have any quirky twists. I said you guys wouldn't have any. Who am I anyway? Let me give you a little breakdown. At the end of the day, this is just a story. I write you guys. I decide either or in the story. I can write whatever I want, and as you know, it's canon. You guys don't know that word. You guys don't even know anything, actually. I'm talking to myself, basically. But I could rewrite this scene to where you guys talk to me, but you guys kinda are me. You guys just simply aren't alive. Just a text on the screen I made for a school project. But you guys don't know this. You guys aren't even reacting. Why? Because I'm not writing. Because I'm not writing your answer to Delicious's question. Oh. Because I'm not writing your reactions. How cliche of me. The writer talks to his writing. Isn't that just original? Anyway, this is not the answer to Delicious's question. It never was. The story's being written by a future schizo. You didn't even notice how I essentially discarded the story with this rant. You guys, the listeners or readers, didn't notice either. But it's okay, because I decide what happens in the story. My rant simply never happened. Do you ever wonder why and how is the way it is, like how we act and stuff? What goes on? It's so imperfect, but I feel just knowing that not everything is perfect and perfect is perfect in its own way. Why is why is that? Why is that? Asked Delicious. The men ponder just a little bit. Skipper replies, maybe it's just something we don't need to know. There's a multitude of explanations to your questioning anyway. Maybe it should be that way. A multitude of theories and answers, and it's up to you to decide which one's true. And they just leave it at that. The end. Well said.